Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Break the Barriers Leadership Call. Today is September 15th. We wanted to excuse Shannon. She's doing baby stuff this week, prepping for her C-section the next couple days. So we are going to be without her probably for the next 2 weeks. But we're excited about it. So yay, Shannon, you're probably watching the recording. But a couple of announcements that she wanted me to pass on. We just talked about the sneak peek group, and she was concerned that there were going to be a lot of confused people going into this. And so she said that what she would really like is for us as leaders to do it ourselves, to kind of show them that we're doing it too. But then also to kind of contact everybody in our mentorship groups and just see if they understand, see if they have any questions, and kind of clear things up. But we're just trying to simplify, so that's the biggest thing to stress, is that we're trying to make less groups for them to run, less groups for them to have to figure out, to invite people to. And so we're just really trying to simplify everything. And that she also wanted to stress that this is something that the bigger coaches are doing, and so we're just copying. It's not like we're trying something completely new and off the wall. So this is something that other people have done and had great success. So the whole idea is to try it out and just see how it goes for this month and maybe next month, but to kind of reach out to our coaches and see if there's any confusion there. And then we have the leaders of the week for next week. So the Team Pure Results Leader of the Week is Julia next week. And then the leadership leader of the week is Ashley. So you guys need to be set to do the team calls and the announcements and all that fun stuff. So we're looking forward to hear from you guys next week. The last thing she wanted me to pass on is that the application to join this leadership group. So if you have anyone contact you and say, hey, I'm Emerald rank or whatever, I want to join the group, then the application is found in the Files tab of the Break the Barriers group. She just uploaded that today so that you can get that to them and they can fill it out and get it back to you. So make sure that they don't send it on to Shannon because she's going to be busy. So you look it over, see if they are a good candidate you feel. And it's not something that they have to do in like the next week. So say you have someone in 3 weeks that hits Emerald, you think is a rock star and they should be in this group, give them the application. They're welcome to join at any time. So it's kind of an open-ended group. They can join at any time. So I think that's everything. So I wanted to talk today about how to help your new coach, or how to help your coaches grow, because this is something I really had to figure out. I wasn't naturally good at this. So a lot of this is me pulling together. I have this notebook that I started at Summit, and it's almost full. And I went through it this week and found all of the good stuff to give you guys. So I've made a PowerPoint presentation just because I'm very visual. And then that way you don't have to sit there and go, what did she say? As far as the quotes, because I'm quoting a lot of good people. So I'm going to share my screen. Can you guys see it? Yes, okay. So let me figure out how to do this. Okay, so we're going to talk about how to help your coaches grow. And I kind of wanted to tell you guys that a lot of you might know that Shannon and I are best friends. We were roommates in college, and so we've known each other for 16 years or something like that. And it was kind of a funny relationship in that I always felt like she was the leader and I was the follower, which isn't bad. I'm just naturally a follower. I'm not naturally a leader. And I've never looked at myself that way. I never seek out leadership opportunities. Whoops, sorry about that. And I actually shy away from leadership, where I'm like, no, I don't want to be in charge of anything. I don't want people looking at me. I'm happy kind of being in the background, in the shadows, just kind of doing my own thing, following everybody else. And so when it came to coaching, I was more than happy for Shannon to take the lead because first of all, she sponsored me. She was a coach longer than me. And that's just kind of the way it always was. And so I was like, yes, you go ahead. I'll just follow. I'm happy back here. And I did that for a long time. So until it was December of last year, so it hasn't even been a year yet, that was when I really feel like I was like, okay, I need to step into the leadership position. And it was a long time coming because by then I'd been a coach for over 2 years. And I was like, okay, people look at me as a leader. I'm a diamond. I should be doing this. I should be hosting my own June calls. I should be, doing all the things that she was doing, running my own trainings. I didn't because I was scared was the main reason. And I didn't look at myself as a leader, even though my coaches saw me as a leader, the team maybe saw me as a leader. I was like, no, I just want to follow Shannon. And I really stunted myself. And I remember the conversation I had with her in December. I was like, okay, as the new year starts, I really feel like I need to go do my own thing. And I was afraid she was going to be mad. Honestly, I got on the phone with her. I was like, please don't be mad, but I feel like I have to do this. And she's like, yes, I've been waiting for you. I've been telling you you can do it. And it was amazing to me because that was in December. In February, I hit 1 star. And in May, I had a personally sponsored and my husband's business hit diamond. So it really did help my business grow so much more when everyone else saw me running things. And I tried to publicly talk about the fact that I'm running things now. And it really did help. So like I said, I kind of am just I'm a follower. I'm kind of still like that. And I really had to do a lot of personal development on leadership and figure out what the heck I was doing and just get over my own self-doubts, because that was really what was holding me back. So what I really liked at Summit is that the keynote speaker, Simon Sinek, he said leadership is a choice. And I really have to keep that in my head. I had to make a choice that I was a leader. You don't have to have a leadership position. You don't have to have someone call you to this grand thing of leadership. You can decide, even if you don't have any coaches under you, that you want to be a leader and you act like it. And it gets easier with time. It really does. At first, you're going to be flailing around wondering what you're doing, and you're going to have self-doubts. You're going to get things wrong. You're probably going to fail at some things, but it gets easier and you get better at it. So the more you do it, the better. And you also, like I said, overcome your own fears and doubts. And it really does help when you are doubting yourself. You don't have to be an expert. You just have to show them that you care. So when you're trying to reach out to your coaches, what do you need? How can I help you? Listening to them on the team call, onto your one-on-one calls really helps a ton, because they don't necessarily need an expert in marketing. They don't need somebody who's hit Success Club 100. They just need someone who really wants to generally help them. And if they feel that, then they are going to do stuff that they wouldn't if they didn't feel like you cared. And it was just all about you and your rank and your numbers and your commissions. So you really have to show them that, and I'm sure we all really do care about them. We just have to make sure that they feel it. And I think the biggest thing too is just to do it yourself. Like they always said, the speed of the pack is the speed of the leader. So I always think of my coaches as my little ducklings. So I put that picture there. I always think of them like, come on guys, let's go, and that's kind of how I look at them. And it's funny when they grow and they progress and they do these things. I'm like, oh, it's like they're my little kids, and I'm so proud of you. And so you really have to be positive. You have to be a go-getter. You have to have that no excuses attitude, because your coaches will do what you do. So if you let your life get in the way and you stop posting for a week because you're on vacation, you can still do some little things. No one expects you to do grand things, but if you just appear off the face of the earth, then they're going to do the same thing. So you really have to, be that example. So I really wanted to take into this call the analogy of the plants, because that's how I really look at it. And if you do these things, I promise that your little plants that you get at the store, like those ones right there, that are in those little, flimsy containers, they will get bigger, and you just have to do certain things. And this is what I found works. So I'm going to be talking about these 5 things. First thing, you have to set realistic expectations up front. Second, help them develop a positive mindset. Third, help them set goals. Fourth, give them reasons they want to achieve. And then 5, give them responsibilities that push them out of their comfort zone. So the first one, set realistic expectations up front. This is something I didn't used to do at first, but it really, really, really helps. So when I get on a call with somebody who's interested in coaching even, I tell them, you can be a success. I am here to help you. I will give you all the tools, all the training, all the, the backup behind you, and I will cheer you along, but you have to do it. I am not going to sit there and sell things for you. You have to put in the work. And they're all like, okay, yeah, I see that. And I tell them, if you fail, it's your fault. It's not my fault. I will help you, but it does take time. Make sure that they know that, and you have to be consistent. And I think that's the biggest thing, is that consistency. If they don't continue to post, and they don't continue to invite, and they don't continue to look for coaches, and they fall off for a month or so, then they have to get all that momentum back up. And then I tell them, you have to hit Success Club if you want to get that dream house that you're talking about. If you want your husband to quit your job, if whatever it is that your goals are, you have to hit Success Club. And I tell them why. The next thing I tell them is that they have to hit Emerald in their first month. But that Emerald is just the first step. So you don't want Emerald to be this huge grand thing that they're like, yes, I hit Emerald. Now what do I do? And then they just stop, because there's so many coaches that hit Emerald and then they quit, or they don't do anything else. And they never get to Diamond, because they think that that's like the be all end all. And you have to tell them, like, yes, Emerald is important. It's the first thing you have to do. You do it quickly and you go on. Next step is Diamond. And then you explain to them really simply that all you have to do is find 2 people to do what you just did, and then find a couple more, 6 more people as just regular coaches. And they're like, oh, that's not bad. So you kind of simplify the Diamond. They think Diamond's huge and unobtainable sometimes, but if you simplify it and say, hey, you just had Emerald, do the same thing with 2 of your coaches, and then just find a couple more, and they're like, whoa, okay, that's really simple. So you have to really kind of dumb it down for them, simplify, and make it so that it's not so grand and unobtainable that they can't do it. And then I also tell them about the weekly paycheck. You want to get a weekly paycheck every week. I explain to them that the reason you want to hit Emerald is because then you're not getting paid on just what you do, because that stinks. You want to get paid on, everything else, your team. And so I explain that and tell them that, I'm going to help you cover your Shakeology, and then I want to help you make a profit. So those are all my little plants. I think of all my coaches, just like that picture. They're all my little plants right there, and I'm helping them grow. So the second thing I do is help them develop a positive mindset. Now this is hard, because most people are kind of negative. We're surrounded by, negative influences all day long. And so it really has to start with you as the coach. And I've really realized this, because when you have a new coach, they're going to not really believe that they can do it. They're not going to really believe that they can earn money at this, or that they can get to Emerald, or they can build their team. And so you have to have that belief. And so I always tell them, I believe in you. And until you believe in yourself, believe in my belief in you, if that makes sense. So I tell them that, and you have to realize that they will believe your belief in them before they have their own self-belief. And when they finally develop that self-belief, then your belief in them will just help them even more. So you tell them why you believe in them. There's a big thing. Say, you're awesome at posting. You're always on social media. You post the best things. You've got so many friends who are encouraging you. Whatever it is, tell them why. Say, I think you're a great coach, or you're going to be a good coach for these reasons. So it really does help to point out their strengths, because it's really hard to see your strengths yourself. But other outside people can see that, and you really want to give them that belief in themselves. And so I really, really try hard. I'm like, okay, guys, you can do this. I know you can, because of these reasons. So go do it, And then you really have to say, stop telling yourself I can't. Say I can. Huge point, personal development. We talk about that all the time, but it's so true. And so whenever I check in with my coaches, I ask them, what are you doing for personal development? What are you reading? What are you listening to? Have you listened to the national wake-up calls? Are you plugging into the team calls? Whatever it is, I want to make sure that they are developing themselves. And then I ask them too, what is holding you back? What are you struggling with right now that's keeping you from progressing? So if they say, I want to, hit Emerald, and they haven't even signed up a single coach, say, okay, what is it that you're struggling with? And a lot of it's just fear. So then I develop them back to personal development. But one of the things I really love about this quote is Stephanie Chico. She said, you don't learn when you talk, you only learn when you ask questions and listen. So when you're, contacting your coaches, you really have to listen to what they're saying, instead of just saying, okay, you should do this, and then goodbye, good luck. You have to listen to them and say, okay, what is it that's going on? How can I help you? What are you struggling with? And then really listen so that you can help resolve those concerns. So the third thing that's really helped me help my coaches grow is to help them set goals. And this is something that not most of the people in the world do not do. And Shannon was awesome about this with me. She was very good about contacting me like every Monday saying, what are your weekly goals? And what are your monthly goals? And what are your long-term goals? And I would know around Monday morning, like, oh no, she's gonna ask me, I better set some goals. And so a lot at first, I was kind of just doing it because she asked me. And then it became more of a habit. And then I was like, oh yeah, I should do this because it really does help. So I think with our coaches, we have to do the same thing. We have to kind of force them to set their own goals because they're not naturally going to do it most of the time. And I love this quote by Brian Tracy. There are no unrealistic goals, just unrealistic timelines. So when you're helping them, make sure that you tell them, hey, if you want to be top coach, that's awesome. You know, that's not an unrealistic goal. When do you think you want to do that by? Or, set the deadline is a big thing. Unless they have a deadline, it's just a wish, right? So I had a coach tell me, I want to hit diamond. Great, when? She's like, I'll think about it. Okay, get back to me. And so she contacted me back. She's like, I want to hit it in the next year. Okay, we can do it way before then. And so I challenged her. I kind of had to give her the goal of, hey, let's aim. You're already Emerald. You already have 3 coaches under you. Let's aim for the end of the year. And and she's like, okay, if you think I can do it. And it's funny because she had this like thought in her head, like, it's gonna be way harder. It's gonna take me a whole year. And I know she can do it by Christmas. And so I set that goal for her. And she's like, yeah, maybe I can do that. And so that's really helpful, is sometimes you really have to kind of give them the goals. You have to say, okay, this is what I think you can accomplish. I don't think that's realistic. Maybe if they say, I want to be diamond in the next week and they haven't signed up a single coach, well, maybe we'll set it a little further. So make sure that it's realistic because you don't want them to get so discouraged. Make sure that they have a deadline. So I really help them set rank, paycheck, and success club goals. Another big thing that really helps is to give them a vision. So if they are, kind of struggling with, well, I don't know my why or whatever, you want to make sure that they have it where they can see it is one thing. So when they're writing down their goals, I always have them say, like, put it on your bathroom mirror or hang it in your kitchen or, wherever you can see it, because you want to have that vision of what they want. And if they want like a house like Shannon did, print out a copy of a picture of a house and put it where you can see it. You have a vision. And I love this quote by DeWitt Jones from Summit. He said, we all start out needing teachers and mentors to show us what's possible. They influence your vision before you have one of your own. So like I said, your vision of them will help them establish their own vision of themselves. And the fourth thing I wanted to go over is to give your team reasons why they want to achieve. So I'm kind of big on, saying this is why you want to, and telling them all the perks. This is kind of at the end, but telling them all the perks of, say, hitting Emerald. This is what you get from Beachbody Corporate, and then you add your own stuff too. So I do the recognition for the little things, and at first, honestly, when I started my team, I was like scraping the bottom of the barrel for any kind of recognition because I felt like no one was doing anything. And so I started this Coach of the Week thing. And sometimes it's like, oh, who do I pick? There's no one doing anything. And so I picked someone going, well, she started her free challenge this week, yay. And it might not be something huge, but I felt like it was recognizable, right? And as I've done it, the more coaches I get on the team and the more it's going on, it really does up the excitement to where now it's kind of like, oh, who do I pick? Like, this person's doing this and this person's doing that. And so I'll pick a Coach of the Week, but then I'll recognize everybody else. One idea that someone had on my Success Club partner told me this week, and I thought, oh, that's such a good idea. She does a ring the bell on her team. So if anyone does anything, she posts a picture of a bell, and she says, ring, 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 so-and-so just talked to their mailman about psychology. Awesome, good job. And so it's like a big thing in her team to ring the bell. So, whoever wants to recognize whoever will put a picture of a bell on the person's photo or whatever. And I thought that was a cute idea, the whole ring of the bell. And it's, just figurative, but I thought that was really cute. The other things I do on my team is have them speak on team calls. And this is something that I'll talk about a little bit later, but it really does help. They want to have that opportunity. They just don't really realize it at first. Also, I do the coach of the week. So we announce the coach of the week on my team call, and then the coach for that week, for the previous week, is the one that does it. So if that makes sense. So the coach of the week this week will next week do the announcing of the next coach of the week. So I have them do the recognition and the announcements, and then at the end, okay, the coach of the week this week, and we kind of do it as like a spotlight thing, like, okay, this person did this, and then this person did this, and so everyone's listening like, who is it? And at the end, we're like, oh, it's Sandy, you know. And so it's like a big deal, and everybody's all excited to announce each other. And so that's really worked well, and it also ups the live attendance on my team calls. So that really helps because they will come just to announce other people. Another big thing that I do is I started a leaders thread. It's a message thread. So I kind of handpicked the leaders on my team. So, you know, the diamonds, the emeralds, the people who I felt like were very reliable, who were true leaders on my team. You know, they had to earn the right. And I have a whole, in my files tab of our group, I have the requirements. If you want to be in the leaders of my group, this is what the requirements are. And you will be invited when we see that you have these, you know, qualities. And I tell them, you know, we have a leaders thread. We make decisions. And so I'll get in the leaders thread, like we just redesigned our logo. Like, here guys, here's the logo. What do you guys think? What do you think of this font? And they're helping me make decisions. And then when we are starting the next challenge, for instance, we'll say, okay, what do you guys think we should name it? When do you think we should start it? And it's so helpful because then I don't feel like I'm the only one making decisions on my team. And then they feel like they're helping. They're being part of that decision-making process. So they feel like they're leaders, and that's important for me. The other thing is I make them actually earn weekly phone calls with me, one-on-one weekly phone calls. I do bi-monthly phone calls with anybody who says they want to build the business, just to kind of check in. Sometimes it's monthly, depending on the person. But as far as weekly phone calls where you have an established time on my calendar, you have to do X, Y, and Z. And so I make them earn that, and they have to show that they are actively building, they're actively inviting, they're actively trying, because my time is limited. I don't have all the time in the world. And so I tell them, like, you have to earn this. And that's a big thing. So then they you know, much more appreciate my time rather than kind of walking all over me, which is what happened at first when I was trying to help everybody. So those are some of the things that really help. So if you get them to where they want to achieve, and you say, these are all the reasons why it's awesome to be a leader. These are all the reasons why you want to hit emerald. These are the reasons why you want to hit diamond. And talk about it. Like, I'll talk about when I get free coaches from Beachbody as a diamond and say, this is awesome. Or matching check bonuses is a big thing as a diamond. And so I tell them, this is why you want to be this. And then they're like, oh, okay. So you really have to get them to want that so that they'll achieve it. And the last thing is to give them responsibility, so that you have to kind of push them out of their comfort zone. And this is kind of harder than you'd think. And I've gotten better at this lately, but a lot of it is that you have to delegate what you normally do as a leader to them. So that can be, you know, a lot of different things, but it helps them, first of all, become more independent. So they're not so, you know, basing everything on you and your efforts. Helps build your team. It helps them grow their own leadership skills. And I've been doing this earlier and earlier, and it seems like the coaches that I do that with, that I'm like, okay, you're serious, you're really going, you need to do this, not, you know, I need your help with this, and go, okay, and it really does stretch them. And it really does help you too, because then you're not trying to do it all. And as a leader, you can get lost. I'm sure you all know. Like, we're spending so much time on all this team building and helping everybody else that you were like, oh, I need to spend time on myself. And it's really helpful to delegate. So some of the things you can do is the hosting and speaking on team calls, like we're doing right now. Making videos for your team trainings and things like that. So I'll delegate, you know, we're doing this group, like, can you make a video for day one and tell them what we need? And also posting, just regular posting in challenge groups and team groups. Those are just some ideas. But I love what Brigida Linford said, and delegating turns you into a leader. So by giving other coaches your responsibility, you know, other responsibilities, it really does help you become that leader. So that's awesome. So Chalene Johnson said, the key to overcoming self-doubt is confidence. And you can help your coaches gain confidence and overcome that self-doubt by putting them in situations where it forces them to grow. So I had 2 times where this kind of happened. I had a coach who signed up in December, And she was awesome in that she always posted. She was always on our team calls. She was very active in our group, but she hadn't had very much success in selling challenge packs or getting any kind of paycheck or anything like that. And she was kind of getting discouraged. And then in May of this year, her husband kind of gave her an ultimatum. Okay, you've been a coach for a long time. We're financially strapped. You either have to make money at this in the next month or I'm going to make you quit. And she's like, ah. And so I really had to go, okay, if you're serious, I'm going to help you. And so the first thing I actually asked her to do was to host our team call. And she was scared out of her mind. She had actually gone to a Chalene Johnson confidence webinar. And so I said, oh, you just went to that webinar. I didn't get a chance to go. Is there any way I could do a team call on it and tell us all about it? And she said, okay. And I was actually very shocked in that because I thought she's kind of shy. I thought, well, maybe she'll talk for a couple minutes. So I prepared some extra stuff because she said she didn't know how much she had. And then she blew me away because she made this beautiful PowerPoint presentation, which I didn't even ask her to do. I just said, read your notes to us. And she talked the entire time and kind of ran out of time. And she did an amazing job. And then after that, it was like she was on fire. She's like, I can't even believe I did that. I talked on the team call. I wasn't nervous like I thought I was going to be. I didn't stumble over my words. You know, I figured out how to use PowerPoint. Now I can do anything. And she hit Success Club for the first time that next month. And it was just giving her that situation where it had to kind of force her out of her comfort zone, that she's like, oh, now I can do this. So it was really, really helpful. And also you can point out their achievements and their strengths like I talked about before. And it's so much easier, like I said, for people on the outside to see it than for the person who's looking out. They don't see their own strengths and their own accomplishments. So this is kind of what I wanted to tell you guys. I was actually telling Shannon this is how I think about it now. So if you have your little plant, you can keep it in that little pot that they give you, but it's limited. You have it in the small little space to grow, and once it does, it's going to get kind of stuck. So you really have to take it out of that, put it in a bigger pot, and give it all this room to grow. And so you can see that second picture. It's got all this room, and it's all this air and all this stuff around it. It's probably feeling kind of insecure and not used to where it is. But by doing that, you're giving it all this room so that in the last picture, it grows and then it grows and then it grows. And you kind of keep having to put it in a bigger pot every time. So it's the whole transplanting idea. And that's what you're doing with your coaches. You give them, this room to grow, and then you expand it a little bit more and then expand it a little bit more until where they're used to it and they can stand on their own. They're not going to need you and your help as much anymore. I love this quote by Emma Whaley. She said that leadership is a leader shift. Lead through your coaches. So I think that's so true. You really have to kind of shift that mindset that you as a leader have to help them become a leader. So just a couple final things is that you really have to just make sure that coaching isn't for everybody. Not everyone's going to run with this. Obviously, we know that. Sorry about that. So the whole point is that you run with your runners and don't waste your energy trying to help everybody. And this is something I really had to learn because I was trying to, it's like, oh, come on, I believe you so much. I know you can do it, and I'll help you anyway. And I was trying to force people maybe that weren't really wanting it as much as I wanted it for them. So you really have to work with those who are actively building, and you can't push the people who don't want to do it. And some people might say they want to do it and they don't. So you kind of have to just let them know, I'm always here to help you. I'm ready to go when you are. But you're looking for the people who are actively doing it. And you're looking for people just like you, because if you're sitting here, you're serious, you're a leader, and you only need one runner. I always tell my team this. They look at their team and they're like, oh gosh, I don't know if I can ever build a team. I just tell them, just look for one. Look for one that's just like you, and then you give them all sorts of recognition. Tell them how awesome they're doing. Publicly recognize them. Talk about your team and how you're growing it. And that alone, just that one person, will help you attract other ones just like them. And I've seen that over and over and over again, where they find just one person and that person's on fire, or they're actively building the business, and then it just kind of makes everything grow faster. So they just need to find one That's it, just one. And it will help them find 2, 3, 4, all the leaders that they need. So you just repeat things, and make sure you repeat things over and over and over again. So if you think that you're saying something, too many times, like Success Club's important, 3 vital behaviors, whatever it is. I love this by Zig Ziglar. He says you must listen to something at least 16 times before you'll get the full message. 16, that's a lot. So when you're listening to personal development books, he says, you've got to listen to it 16 times before you're really going to get it. So I'm like, whoa, that's a lot. So you really have to tell your coaches over and over and over and over again all the important reasons that they should be, all the important steps so that they can get to be a successful coach. And they have to hear it over and over. So if you feel like a broken record, you're probably doing it just about right because they have to hear it a lot before they finally get it. So, does anybody have any questions or comments? Because that was everything I had. Let me stop this. There we go. Nope.
It was awesome.
Thanks. Yeah, I hope it was helpful.
Lots of good information.
Yeah, it's been fun. I've really had a lot of more success this year. I was actually going back counting all my emeralds for this year. Like, how many people have I helped get to emerald? And it's like 3 times as much as last year, just because I've really been focusing on helping everybody so much more just in these little things. And so I think once you finally figure it out, then you just do it over and over and over again, and it really does help. So I'm not an expert, but I'm telling you that this is what I'm doing, and it seems to be working. So.
Are you gonna, go ahead. Are you gonna share those slides in the Break the Barriers? Could you send us those? I screenshot all of them, but I was just gonna ask you.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I don't know if it will be too big of a file to upload, but I could put it somewhere. I'll figure it out, like maybe a Google Doc or something. So yeah, I'll figure it out.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, guys. I was just reading the comments. So anyway, yeah, anybody else have any comments or questions? I'd love to hear additional input if you guys have anything.
Angie, I had a question.
Sure.
For the application for this group, where did you say it was?
It's in the Files tab of the Break the Barrier group.
It is in the Break the Barriers.
Yeah, she just uploaded it this afternoon when we were talking about the announcements and everything. So she said it's there, and I actually saw it too. So yeah.
Okay, and then I have my gal fill it out and turn it into me, and I decide if she's ready?
Yeah, that's the plan. Yeah, because you know her the best. It's more just like a formality. If you probably already know before you even give it to her, but you just want to make sure she's serious and that she's willing to do the requirements and she knows everything that's going into it. But yeah, I just wanted to stress too that, like, don't send it all to Shannon.
All right. So then, how does she get into the different call schedules?
I think we're booked through, what is it, November? So she'd probably get on after that. I know Shannon was planning on extending that schedule in a little bit here. So
okay.
Yeah, we'll add her to that. I think part of it too is that we wanted to make sure that they were in the group long enough to kind of see what we're doing, rather than saying, you're the leader of the week, you just got in the group, good luck, Participate and see. Yeah.
Right. Okay, great. And this was great. I needed this, so this was very awesome. Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
So I had a question. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So she has me doing the Leader of the Week call next week.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't received the information yet.
Okay, so in the Files tab of the Break the Barrier group,
okay.
I think there's a description of what the Leader of the Week is supposed to do, isn't there?
Okay.
Seeing it, yeah. So there's a list of responsibilities for like the Team Peer Results leader and then the Leader of the Week leader. But basically, the Leader of the Week, we just post once a day. So the beginning Monday, it's about goals. Tuesday, it's about the call, and you post that. And so it's a lot easier, I personally think, than the Team Peer Results one, because there's a little bit more involved. But yeah, so it's all there. So I would just look.
And do I get do I choose my own topic to speak about, or is she going to give me a topic?
You're supposed to choose your own, but then contact someone if you need help. But I know she's not going to be available next week. So
Right.
if you need help, ask your coach or ask me or something. But yeah, you're supposed to kind of pick something that you feel like you've learned, or you feel like something that would be helpful for the rest of us, or you feel like you need to learn, like Cindy did. I love that. Just like, I feel like I need to learn this. So yeah, whatever you feel.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Anyone else?
For the application, do they have to be an Emerald coach then to join?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's one of the few, requirements. They have to be an Emerald coach, and then they have to be willing to step into that leadership role. And but wanted to stress that, you have to be able to host a call and, be comfortable doing that, because we don't want you not to do it when you're supposed to. So.
Okay.
Any other questions? Alrighty. Well, thanks guys for coming. I appreciate it. And I'll figure out how to post the slides, so if you guys wanted to see it. All right. Well, have a great night, everyone, and we'll talk to you next week on our call. Bye.